Please welcome, give a warm Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, Allegheny County welcome to Vice President Joe Biden.
My name's Joe Biden and I work for Leo Gerard. Folks, Leo wasn't joking. The only reason I'm standing here is back when, in 1972, as a 29-year-old kid, Richard Nixon ended up winning my state by about 70% of the vote, and I couldn't get help anywhere. And I was working like the devil, and there was a big old boy named Emory Woodard. He was about 6'6", about 260 pounds. He represented the steel workers at what used to be called Worth Steel in Claymont, where I moved from Scranton to Claymont, Delaware. And he took me up to see a guy named Huey Carcella, who was the regional director in Philadelphia. And he said to Huey, he said, "We're backing this boy." And Huey said, "Like hell we are." He said, "If you're not, you don't have me." Turns around, Huey Carcella came out here to Pittsburgh and spoke to your international president, and the next thing you know, I was endorsed. And at that time, I was losing in the most recent poll, 57 to 19. But I won. I won because of the steel workers. We have an expression where I grew up. You go home with them that brung you to the dance. And you all brung me to the dance. And it's great to be here. I understand that, I don't know where he is right now, but I understand Mike Doyle, hey Mike, there you go, good to see you, Congressman. It's nice to have someone in Congress actually know what a steel mill looked like. And, where's Mac? Mac does all the heavy lifting. There you go, Mac. Thank you, by the way, for having me, pal. Thanks for having me back. And my buddy Rich Trumpka, you know, Rich and I go back a long way. He's the kind of guy, and I'm not joking like all of you, you know, in the neighborhood, you always knew the person you could turn to would have your back. Not a joke. You knew it. You knew it. And this is the guy who'd have your back. He'd have your back in a fight. He'd have your back in an argument. He'd have your back no matter what. And I've had his back, and he's had mine, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate the friendship. I really mean it. You know, it's good to be back. I'm almost home. I'm in Pennsylvania and getting closer, you know, although actually I'm further from Scranton now than I was in Wilmington. But at any rate, it's good to be here. You know, I don't have to tell you, you've done a remarkable job here in Pittsburgh, but nationally, labor's been clobbered. Some of you heard me say some time ago, actually 15 years ago, the National Chamber of Commerce, they declared war on labor's house. Flat out declared war, not a joke, not an exaggeration. Because you're the only ones who have the power to keep the barbarians from the gate, man. No, not a joke, not a joke. Without the ability to sit down with the most powerful entities in the world, without that ability to negotiate, without that ability to throw up power, there is no shot. No shot for any American worker. I don't mean labor, I mean any American worker. And ladies and gentlemen, what's happened is been devastating. Productivity, that's what you do. You make their products more valuable. You do it better, you do it cheaper, you get more out there. It used to be, when productivity went up in America, everybody got to share. The people who caused the productivity increase, they got a piece of the action. They got a piece of the action. But it went up about 73%. But yet wages only went up about 9% all across America. Something's wrong, folks. And at the end of World War II, from World War II to 1970, when productivity went up, your wages went up. Your standard of living went up. Why in God's name should a man or woman working in a steel mill making $50,000 a year pay at a higher rate than someone makes tens of millions of dollars on Wall Street? I mean, I'm serious. By the way, this is not politics. This is real. This is what's changed. What's changed out there, folks, is we can't let it stand. We can't let the changes that have taken place, and they've creeped in over the last 20 years. But they've been devastating for workers. Look, I hope everybody in America has a chance to become a millionaire. And we need some billionaires. But let me tell you something, man. The tax code's not fair. It's simply not fair. The wealthy aren't paying their fair share. It used to be one America. Everybody was in on the deal. When we were in trouble, everybody jumped in. When we were doing well, everybody did well. But that's not the case anymore. Back in the mid-'70s, you know, the top 1% of Americans, they own 20% of all the wealth in America. Today, 1% of Americans owns 40% of all the wealth in America. They're not bad people. Here's the deal, folks. It's set up that way. It's set up that way. It's the way the tax code's been set up. It's the way everything's been secured. Back in the 70s, when you were getting started in the steel mills, Leo, what the situation was that the CEO made on average 25, 26 times the average employee. Now they make 400 times as much. What happened? What happened? Did American workers get less productive? Every study shows they've been more productive. So folks, the fact of the matter is, we are in a position now. Look, now let me give you one example. You always hear our Republican friends saying, you know, Biden and Obama and all those Democrats, they want to provide free community college for everybody. 12 years is not enough anymore. 14 years is the minimum we need. Well, guess what? They say all they're going to do is raise the deficit. Look, folks, everything's a choice. Everything's a choice. Right now, we give a tax break of $100 billion, $110 billion over 10 years to so-called trust fund babies. 0.8% of the population. They don't pay any tax on the value of what they inherit, the stock they inherit, when it goes from worth 10 million to 100 million. They don't pay that increase. If that increase occurred before they, in fact, were given the stock. You know how much it costs to put 9 million people in community college for free, give them a better chance at a better life? It costs $6 billion a year. You know how much that tax cut costs? $10 billion a year. We can eliminate that tax cut, put everybody in community college who wanted to go, and cut the deficit by $4 billion a year. Folks, it's too hot to go into more detail, but here's the bottom line. I'm hot, I acknowledge that. I'm mad, I'm angry. Because the people I grew up with. Look, you saw too many people during this Great Recession, here in Pittsburgh and all around, make what I call the longest walk a parent has to make. Up a short flight of stairs to say to their kids, honey, I'm sorry. Mom lost her job, Dad lost her job. You can't go back to the same school. You can't go to play in the same basketball team at church. You can't play in the same Little League team. We got to move. My dad made that walk in Scranton, Pennsylvania. He made that walk when I was going into 4th grade. I remember sitting at the edge of my bed in my grandfather's house where we had to live and saying, I'm going to move. I'm going to move to Wilmington, Delaware. There's jobs down there, honey. It's going to take about a year. Everything's going to be all right, though. When I get settled, I'll be you, Mom, and your brothers and sisters down. I'll try to come home every weekend. Only 156 miles. I remember him saying that. I thought that was like going to the moon. But when my dad said it's going to be all right, he meant it. He believed it. He believed it. How many people in your own neighborhoods? How many people in your own neighborhoods are in trouble? Can look their kids in the eye and say with heart, honey, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Not enough, because the level playing field doesn't exist. Our job is one thing, all of you, to make sure every parent can look their kid in the eye knowing they put in a full day's work and say, honey, it's going to be okay. That's what labor's about. That's what unions are about. And one last thing I'll say to you and get off this stage. Folks, there wouldn't be a single basic right from a 40-hour week to sick leave. There wouldn't be a single basic right out there were it not for anyone working, but for labor. You built the middle class. That's not an exaggeration. And as you've declined, the middle class has declined. So there's a simple correlation. Build labor, we build America. Build labor, we build the middle class. And folks, let me tell you what I mean by middle class. It's not a number, it's a value set. To be middle class means you have a chance to own your home, not just rent it. It means you can send your kid to a park in the neighborhood and know they're going to come home safely. It means you're going to be able to send your kid to a school, and if they do well, they want to go to school after high school, they'll be able to go. And you'll be able to pay to get them there. And when you lose one of your parents, you'll be able to keep your other parent and take care of them and hope your kids never have to take care of you. That's middle class. That's what we have to restore. And when the middle class does well, the wealthy do very well, and the poor have a way up. So organize, organize, organize. God love you.